Oh, never mind me. Just unspiraling the spaghetti.
I didn't know your fiance was Italian.
Yeah. When it comes to working up beer. Anyway.
As your program manager at GCPR, we really have to have a talk. We have to have a sit down, all three of us, and
Mm.
then, yeah. And then I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna let you two sort it out.
And then you can, and then I'm going to walk away. I'm gonna light this dumpster on fire, and then I'm gonna run away and let you and watch you burn. Oh God, I'm gonna be a tiny bit late getting on because, of course,
Make you earn that Daredevil jacket.
because of course we can't, share anything the same way 2 nights in a row.
Stand by. I have to get something to drink. Oh,
Yep, I agree. Resemble that remark.
yeah. Kitty cats are giving me the stink eye.
But you're not paying enough attention to them.
Lynn is up. She
Really?
just got up. We take a nap. I was absolutely beat. Left. I think we left for her mom's house. I couldn't sleep last night at all. I had a really bad night. My sinuses and everything, and then
I can hear that you're stuffed up.
and I think I got 2 hours of sleep last night, maybe three, and then worked the full day at her mom's house, and then we got home, and then I like collapsed, and something told me to put the alarm on for 7:45, and the thing goes. "Nee, nee." I went, oh
You
yeah,
can
the show, the
you
show, the
can
show.
skip you can skip these things.
What?
You can skip these things.
No, I cannot skip these.
For as much as you're being paid, you can skip these things.
I'm being paid tremendously.
Oh,
Um, you
it's
know,
it's the yeah, it's the sheer gratitude.
I'm being paid tremendously in all 81 states. Come
And
on.
all that's exactly right. Are you paying taxes in 81 states? Gosh, I hope not. I hope not. I really do. I am trying to get to all of the Democratic places. We have two big stories of the evening, in my humble opinion, which of course would be the 1939 style American Nazi rally that took place at Madison Square Garden
I saw that.
yesterday. I think the other one, the big story, and I hope that this doesn't get lost in the shuffle, is that someone is burning ballot boxes across Oregon and Washington State.
I saw that.
So,
It's interesting that the ballot boxes have a self-extinguishing system. Well, one did anyway. and the other one didn't.
Well, you should talk about that because I didn't know that. And I just think it speaks to how far proverbial they are willing to go. Oh goodness, are we late? Let's. What do you say we do this?
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Kennedy, Kennedy, Kennedy.
Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who brings the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Cause it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Kennedy, Kennedy, Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. And it's Kennedy, 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 for me.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you'll cast your vote for Kennedy, and the change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. And it's Kennedy, 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 for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States, North American continent, Western Hemisphere on this planet Earth, the only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is TKE Tonight, the Kennedy Effect Tonight, live with you for Monday, October 28, 2024. We are 1 week away. I realize that there are still some rallies happening and campaigning, of course, going on across the country, especially with the time difference. It's only 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It is, I think, only 3 p.m. in Hawaii. So there is still, of course, campaigning going on. But at 8 a.m., he says, wow, that's pretty smart. 8 p.m. here Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight Times, only for less than another week, by the way. I think we fall back next Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken. So for all intent and purpose, the day is pretty much done, but that doesn't mean that there hasn't been news, and it certainly doesn't mean that the campaigns have slowed down or stopped in any way, shape, or form. But we are, for all intent and purpose, 1 week away from this cycle coming to, at least the voting part of this cycle coming to a close. The litigation part, as we heard last night, as Laura Trump was very pleased to tell us, the litigation part of this election cycle is well underway in all 81 states. I knew that, the United States is an empire. When you have, according to Senator Sanders, like 800 or something military bases in 184 countries. That's empire. I knew that we were a bit of an American empire, but I didn't realize that we had 81 states. I continue to be pretty excited by that. Gosh, I look forward to visiting the ones I haven't visited yet. Visiting the 31 states that I didn't know about. And if you're counting the territories, the 25 states that we didn't know about. I'm looking forward to those. I'm wondering if the Trump campaign has submitted slates of electors for those additional 31 states. That's something to think about, because obviously it's only Democrats that cheat in elections. But I wonder, geez, I wonder if they've got a slate of electors from the other 31 states. Oh my gosh. Anyway, welcome. Thank you all for being there. Especially a special hello to Randall, Donna, and Mike for being there every night, or nearly every night. It means a tremendous amount to me. I'm not that smart. I'm not that important. I don't think I do such an overwhelming job here that all of you need to be or justifiably should be this loyal, but you are. We've all developed our own odd little friendship here, and it does mean a lot to me that three of you are here consistently. Truly, it does. It means a lot. I very much appreciate it. So I wanted to say that straight out of the gate. How about the business end of the program, shall we? You are listening to and watching TKE tonight, Kennedy Effect tonight, for October 28, 2024. Is 8:10 Eastern Time. You can now be watching us live on Facebook pages of Ghost Claw Productions, my own personal Facebook page, our home group Facebook page for all things surrounding the Kennedy Effect, which is of course that other side of information. I'm trying to find out how many places I shared the program to so I can tell you. But I am, of course, fighting with Facebook because it never works the same way. Night to night. We managed to share the program to 85 places across the Facebook universe, to every single individual group, page, be it local, regional, national, global, or just a single individual Facebook user who continues to allow us to put our program on your corner of the Facebook universe. Thank you very, very much. You can watch us live right now across, again, 85 different places across Facebook. So thank you all for allowing us to be part of your corner of the Facebook universe. And I don't care if Zuckerberg owns it. You created it. It's yours in my book. And thanks for letting us be part of it. You can watch us live on our YouTube channel right now, which is also called That Other Side of Information. We are live on Twitch, Jeff R. Kennedy. We are live on my LinkedIn as well, Jeff Kennedy. So Facebook, big places. I think the easiest places on Facebook for you to find if you're not already a member of some of the other groups. We are on the TCP Media Group right now, Ghost Claw Productions, and of course, That Other Side of Information. The audio of the program, of course, blasting around the globe via gcpr.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio.live. November 4th, which of course will be the Monday before Election Day, will mark the God, 4 months that GCPR has been on the air. And to all of you who have given us a try, given us a listen, spread the word, offered your opinions, whatever it might be. Thank you very much. We're only 4 months in. Sometimes it seems longer, to be honest, but no, I think we're plucky and I think we're doing pretty good. So thanks for being part of the GCPR.live family. Speaking of GCPR, coming up immediately following us. I have not been told different. Let me put it that way. I've not been told differently. I know that the lads have been away for a little bit because they've been dealing with some, health issues of their own. But scheduled to follow us, I Americanized that. Should have said it the proper way. Scheduled to follow us, immediately follow us, is Cold Dead Hands with Brett and Ben. If you haven't checked out their program yet, I ask you to please do so. They come at 9 p.m. Eastern. Conversations with Team Nathan from 11. And The Sound of Coffee returns tomorrow morning to kick off your broadcast day. That's all right here on GCPR. quick word, promise, really quick, pinned to the top of that other side of information. Our home group Facebook is our GoFundMe. Please open it. Please read it. If you are able to give, thank you. If you can't, I get it. Just check out the post first, see what you think. If you can help us, we'd be thrilled. It is for new radio equipment only. We are not taking a trip. Kristen and I are not using it for a honeymoon. We're not buying a new house. We're not paying off a car. We're not buying a new car. I'm not buying a whole new wardrobe. I'm not getting a tummy tuck, even though I really could use one. It is strictly for new equipment here in the studio. That's it, period. That's it. We're not asking for anything other than that. So thank you, and let's get into it, shall we? It would seem to me, and anyone, of course, as usual, is perfectly welcome to disagree, as you always, always, always are. I believe there really are only two stories. One, of course, is what is very reminiscent. Let me back up. I guess I should back up. I might get to a third story only because we've been following it, but I will try to, because there are some other stories that are coming out that are pretty disturbing. Let me get to one of the big stories, because if I don't get, I feel like if I don't get to them, I'm going to somehow forget. One, of course, is this. In 1939, the American Nazi Party held a rally, a Nuremberg-style rally, in Madison Square Garden in New York City. And I actually looked this up earlier to try to get to, to explain it. So let me try to do that. This is actually from Wikipedia, which is really not a favorite source of mine because Wikipedia is openly sourced. Users can go in and edit, which is why, if you happen to use Wikipedia for research on certain political issues and political figures, you'll see terribly lovely bios of them, because their supporters can go in and change things. But this appears to be locked, so I'm hoping that most of this is still correct. It is, as far as I'm reading, everything that I knew about it. Randall, of course, being a history major, will correct me, as he should. But let me just read this to you from Wikipedia, and let's see if we can draw a correlation here. On February 20th, 1939, a Nazi rally took place at Madison Square Garden, organized by the German-American Bund. Bund being a German word that means, believe it or not, I think it means friendship organization, if I'm not mistaken. But somebody can, speaking. More than 20, now this would have been not the current Madison Square Garden that sits between 31st and 33rd Streets, between 7th and 8th Avenue. This would have been the one down by Union Square, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Union Square, where the original Madison Square Garden was before they built a new one. What would have been uptown back in those days. I think the original one was somewhere around Union Square, but that's a topic for a different day. That's New York City history. Here's a really quick one. I'm really going off the rails here really quick, going down a rabbit hole. If you can find it, because I can't seem to find it on the PBS app anymore. The PBS app, by the way, is worth everything you can possibly pay for it. Oh, but it's PBS, so it's free. You can access pretty much anything that's ever aired on PBS through this app. This particular documentary doesn't happen to be there anymore. It's not Ken Burns. It is his brother, and I'm blanking on his brother's first name. He did a very Burnsian style documentary on the history of New York, from the founding of the city, so to speak, by the first landings of the Dutch, probably a better way to say it, the establishment of a settlement, all the way to, so that one came out, I think, that one might already be 20 years old, but it did come through 9/11. So it's a wonderful, very Burnsian style documentary. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. And they actually, Rick Burns, thank you, George. It's Rick. Damn it. I almost, believe it or not, George popped up into my head and not George Dare, George Burns. And I thought, well, that's stupid, you idiot. That's not right. Rick Burns. But it is a very Burnsian style documentary. If you're familiar with Ken Burns and just the manner with which he pieces together a documentary, the New York documentary is very, it's essentially, it's the very same style for my money. But it's a brilliant documentary. I'm way off course now because I can't keep myself focused. Let me return to Wikipedia here. More than 20,000 people attended, and Fritz Julius Kuhn, sorry, I mispronounced that. Fritz Julius Kuhn, Kuhn, was a featured speaker. The Bund billed the event, which took place 2 days before George Washington's birthday, as a pro-Americanism rally. The stage at the event featured a huge portrait of George Washington with swastikas on either side. Approximately 100,000 anti-Nazi counter-protesters gathered outside, attempting to break through the lines of police officers guarding the rally. On 3 occasions, the Bund rapidly declined in the aftermath of the rally, with Kuhn being imprisoned for embezzlement. So that is the rally that took place in 1939. Now, let me give you what took place last night from MSNBC. Well, that's the Maddow blog. Let's not do that one. Let's do something a little more. Let's do Reuters. Lest I be, accused of being more left than I already am. We'll skip MSNBC. We'll skip the Maddow blog. Let's go to Reuters. Reuters News Service. This is an article by Steve Holland, Jeff Mason, and James Oliphant. This is from today, from 2:30 p.m. It was updated, 2:30 p.m. because it was updated 6 hours ago. So this is an updated story by Reuters. Now, this one I got on the web. I don't know if Reuters has an app. I'm sure they probably do. It's probably an app I should use more because I seem to be getting into Reuters lately. I seem to be finding good articles at Reuters. Here's the headline. Trump headlines Madison Square Garden rally after vulgar racist remarks from allies. New York, October 27th, yesterday. Again, this is from Reuters. Real quick, Steve Holland, Jeff Mason, and James Oliphant. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump headlined a rally at New York's Madison Square Garden on Sunday, yesterday, that began with a series of vulgar and racist remarks by allies of the former president. Trump, a New York City celebrity for decades, true, hoped to use the event at the iconic venue known for Knicks basketball games and Billy Joel concerts to deliver his quote-unquote closing argument against Democratic candidate Kamala Harris, even though the state last backed a Republican presidential candidate in 1984. It would have been Reagan's second term, where he won 49 states, by the way. Trump spoke repeatedly about his plans to halt illegal immigration and deport migrants. What I think is actually quite easily the most international city in this country, home of the United Nations. Trump went into New York City, Midtown Manhattan, and talked about deporting immigrants. He is telling you who he is. He is not trying to he's not trying to do what normal candidates do, or what normal people do. Expand the number of people that would consider voting for you. Hate, racism, vulgarity, misogyny, all of it, class warfare, all of it has worked for him so far, and he knows it. And let's not kid ourselves. It has really worked for him. So he went into the most international city in this country and talked about immigrants. Let's remember, by the way, too, Trump is only 2 generations removed from coming off the boat. His father spoke with an accent, an Eastern European accent. It was his grandfather that came on the boat here, on the boat, so to speak, the way most immigrants did at the turn of the 20th century. Trump's only 2 generations removed from that himself. Trump spoke repeatedly about his plans to halt illegal immigration and deport migrants he described as, quote, vicious and bloodthirsty criminals if he wins the November 5 election. Nothing fascist there, right? Othering people. Be scared. Be very, very afraid. Instead of a candidate, a supposed leader, this is one part of Vice President Harris's argument that I think is really spot on. Whether you agree with her about taxes or healthcare or education or whatever, I'm talking about that. Part of her argument that says the true leaders of a country should be positive. They should be honest and truthful. When things are hard, say it. But when, oh gosh, what did the ads pop up on this one? Wow. Maybe that's why I don't use Reuters more. Positive, have a vision, have a plan, be not her word, my word, a little more parental. Give you that shoulder to lean on, that arm around you, figuratively, obviously, when the nation needs it. This has worked for Trump, and he knows nothing different. He wouldn't know how to give a vision. You know, I read a brief bit of an article about the way Joe Rogan really pressed him about his plan on healthcare. And just repeatedly for minutes in this interview, where's the plan? Where is it? What is the plan? You've been talking about this plan for 10 years. Where? He doesn't have one. There isn't one. Project 2025 is the next Trump regime. He doesn't have to do any work. He didn't. When he says he didn't contribute to writing it, oh, I believe that 100%. His name is still in it 300 times, an average of once every 3 pages. That's the plan for his administration. But he didn't have nothing to do with it. The only thing Trump himself wants is tax cuts for himself and people like him. Quote, one day I will launch one day. No, I read that wrong. Let me change. I'm trying to go too fast, damn it, because I'm watching the clock tick away here. I'm trying to go too damn fast. On day 1, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history, he said. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. I wasn't aware New York City had been conquered. Did I miss something? Trump called Harris a very low IQ individual and drew cheers from supporters for his tough on migrants rhetoric. He vowed to ban sanctuary cities. Shiny copper penny for anybody who can tell me what the actual real definition of a sanctuary city is. Even my most loyal of listeners here who are exceptionally smart people, and I mean that in all sincerity, you're very bloody smart people. If you can actually tell me, especially without Googling it, what the actual real definition of a sanctuary city is, shiny copper penny from us. In fact, even the definition that's in this article is incorrect. A long list of opening speakers varied widely from former pro wrestler Hulk Hogan, because who better to take political advice from, to former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who's just waiting to go to jail, to Trump's sons, Eric and Don Jr., who have been, overall, his family's been very absent and quiet from this campaign. If you've noticed, Jared and Ivanka are nowhere to be found. They actually had to come out publicly after he announced his re-election and say, we'll have nothing to do with it. We will not work for the campaign. We will not be in the administration. They have stayed out of it. Don Jr., when he's not snorted up on coke, seems to contribute occasionally, but certainly not like they did the first two times. Some used racist and misogynistic language in warming up, quote unquote, a capacity crowd. Giuliani, a former personal lawyer to Trump, falsely claimed that Harris was on the side of terrorists in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe used crass language in joking that Latinos love making babies and called the Caribbean U.S. territory of Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Puerto Rican singer Ricky Martin posted a clip of the comments on his Instagram and wrote in Spanish, "This is what they think of us." Yes, it is. It's exactly what they think of you. I don't think that we have, sadly, I don't think that we have a lot of Puerto Rican listeners, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a lot of Latino listeners. And that bothers me. Anybody is welcome here to listen. You're welcome to disagree and watch. You're welcome to disagree. All of it. But how any person of Latino origin or background or heredity, whatever word you like to use, how you can vote for this man is beyond me. I have some friends that were former, very, very staunch Democrats, very involved in the state party and the state Latino caucus, who flipped for Trump. I'm wondering how they are feeling today. I can tell you how they should feel, or what logic would dictate how they would feel, as far as embarrassed, angry, betrayed, feel like you've been used, played, lied to. I should hope. He thinks you're subhuman. He doesn't think you're the same as him. And not just because of money. God, one of the things that makes me absolutely bonkers about Republicans is the hypocrisy and the irony of the arguments that they give us. A man who sprays himself such an unnatural color is racist against people of color. You can't make it up. It's Earth 2 sort of shit. I'm going to ask George to do me a favor. There is a link in the chat. You could check that out for me. So we actually have somebody watching on Twitch. Yay. Gee, my God, I can't get the Twitch people to follow so far. I think it's because I'm too boring. Got to be honest with you. I'm not stunningly good looking. That's rather obvious. And I don't have a giant, huge video wall behind me. I don't have all these fancy things going on. So Twitch just hasn't taken off. So it's nice to see somebody here from Twitch. But I'd like to see what that link is before I discuss it too much. The Twitch viewer name is Quick Double Tap, which is cool. I don't know what that means, but that's cool. That's cool. I have no idea what the screen name means, but it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's
it's not my business to know it anyway. Sorry to butt in. No, we love your comments here, even if you don't agree with us. Nobody has to agree with us. We like comments. We love comments. They help drive the show. Then you don't have to listen to me prattle on. This is not a lecture. This is not NPR. It's supposed to be interactive. But I thought this article would be useful. It's from the United Kingdom. I am generally suspect a little bit of the Independent. They have a little bit of a tabloidy sort of smell to them, so to speak. And I mean that figuratively, obviously. Just like, it kind of smells a little bit like, it smells a little, I wouldn't quite say they're the Sun, but they're a little tabloidy to me. I get articles recommended to me from the Independent all the time. I can't normally access them because of the paywall. George will check that out. We'll see if that's any good. I think it's probably Randall saying that Trump's grandfather was born in Germany. I thought they were Eastern European, to be honest. I could be wrong about that. Of course, I'm wrong a lot. I assume it's Randall asking if we're going to take calls. I don't know yet. I really want to get to the other story. Donna's multitasking, watching us and Elizabeth Warren. Can't blame you there, Donna. I'd watch Elizabeth Warren. I was originally an Elizabeth Warren supporter in 2020. I think she would have been a brilliant president. But anyway, bottom line is, if you can, outside of the program here, obviously, because we're already under half an hour left, find some YouTube clips of this American Bund style rally, this Nazi-like rally. Then I would encourage you to do, it's Randall multitasking. I don't blame you either. I'd rather watch Senator Warren. She's a hell of a lot smarter than me. She's in a much more powerful position. Tell the senator she's welcome to visit us on the program anytime she wants. If you can read up on an article about the 1939 rally, and then watch some YouTube clips of what happened at Madison Square Garden last night, it's, other than the fact that one's in black and white and one's in color, they are at times indistinguishable. So I would ask you to check that out. 8:35 Eastern Time. We have 24 minutes, well, probably 20 minutes really, left in the program because I need to sign off on time so that Cold Dead Hands with Brett and Ben can come your way from 9 p.m. Eastern Time here on GCPR. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11. Thomas returns tomorrow morning from 8 with the sound of coffee. You are watching and listening to TKE Tonight, the Kennedy Effect Tonight for the 28th of October, 2024. We are live on the Facebook page of Ghost Claw Productions. We are live on the TCP Media Group, Our Revolution, Pennsylvania, my own Facebook, Jeff Kennedy, and our home group Facebook page for all things that surround TKE Tonight and the Kennedy Effect, and that is That Other Side of Information. We are live right now on YouTube, That Other Side of Information. Live on Twitch, Jeff R. Kennedy. Thrilled to have a Twitch viewer with us. And we are live on LinkedIn at Jeff Kennedy as well. Special hello to those of you outside the United States listening to us via gcpr.live. We get the analytics from the place where you can listen to us. And we actually have a good number of folks who are listening to GCPR from outside the United States. And that's pretty damn cool. So thank you for that. Please stay with us. I'm thrilled that you're with us, and I'm thrilled that you're checking us out, especially, like I said, especially from outside the United States. I think that's pretty stinking cool. Let us know what you think. Be part of the program. Tell us what you're thinking about. Tell us what you're concerned about. What you're watching this election the same as we are. So tell us what you're thinking. Just talk to us. Tell us what you think. What are you worried about? What are you happy about? All of it. We'd be thrilled to hear from folks outside the United States. I wanted to quickly, I'm really losing my focus here. I want to get to another story, and I will. I have to do it quickly because I'm forgetting the amount of promotion that goes into this um, at any given time is kind of staggering. And it is remarkable to me how much I forget to do it at each and every single thing. There is one other big article that I want to get to that I think is really a big story of the co-big stories of the day. There's two others I want to try and glance on, but this is a biggie, and I want to get to this because I think it is powerfully endemic of where we are in this country. It is why I sometimes fear, perhaps and arguably more than I should. But I think this is a big deal, and I think it says a lot about where we are as a country right now. I've talked to you a lot on this show in the last couple weeks in the very honest and sincere and yet friendly disagreement that Mike and I kind of have running along about me being too pessimistic and getting too wound up and doom scrolling and all these things. And he's not entirely wrong. I don't think he's right either, but he's not entirely wrong. But this is what, but at the end of the day, roughly, plus or minus, 80 million people are expected to vote for Trump. And that means everything that comes with them. The racism, the misogyny, the hatred, the division, the calling America a garbage can, calling soldiers suckers and losers, the giant billionaire tax cuts, the deportations, the concentration camps for Democrats. It all comes with it. And yet 80 million people are going to sign off on that by the time we're done November 5th. And I would ask the same question of everybody as I always do. Don't ask me why I'm upset. Why aren't you? Why isn't everybody? There simply is not a justifiable case for any woman, anyone of color, any poor person, any small business owner, I would start to cross over my groups here at some point, but women, people without economic standing, people of color, union members, Jews, Latinos, Asians, on and on and on. The only people who really are justified in voting for Trump are rich white men. Period. And I mean, it just is it. But yet somehow 80 million people are going to vote for him. Roughly, if you just do the math, you can come up to around 80 million. I don't think 80 million is enough to win. I believe Vice President Harris is going to beat him in the popular vote by 10 to 12 million votes. But we don't elect presidents that way. We elect them with the Electoral College. And that one's a toss-up. Remember, a Republican nominee for president has not won the popular vote since George W. Bush in 1988. A Republican president has not been elected in this country without some sort of illegality linked to him since Eisenhower. This is not a party about winning elections anymore. It's about claiming power. And this tells me, and I think this particular story talks very much about where we are. I know Mike had commented on it earlier, and I missed the comment, Mike, and it's way back now. I'm not even sure I could find it, but this is from Gene Johnson and Claire Rush of the Associated Press. Dateline, Portland, Oregon. Headline: Fires set in drop boxes destroy hundreds of ballots in Washington and damage 3 in Oregon. Incendiary devices were set off Monday at 2 ballot drop boxes, one in Portland and another in nearby Vancouver, Washington, destroying hundreds of ballots in what one official called a direct attack on democracy about a week before a heated election day. The early morning fire at the drop box in Portland was extinguished quickly thanks to a suppression system inside the box, as well as a nearby security guard, police said, and just 3 ballots were damaged there. But within a few hours, another fire was discovered at a transit center drop box across the Columbia River in Vancouver, Washington. Vancouver is the biggest city in Washington's 3rd congressional district, the site of what is expected to be one of the closest U.S. House races in the country between first-term Democratic Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez and Republican challenger Joe Kent. The ballot box in Vancouver also had a fire suppression system inside, but that failed to prevent hundreds of ballots from burning, said Greg Kimsey, the longtime elected auditor in Clark County, Washington, which includes Vancouver. He urged voters who dropped their ballots in the transit center box after 11 a.m. Saturday to contact his office for a replacement ballot. Heartbreaking, Kimsey said. It's a direct attack on democracy. The office will be increasing how frequently it collects ballots and changing collection times to the evening, Kimsey said, to keep the ballot boxes from remaining full of ballots overnight when similar crimes are considered more likely to occur. Obviously, crimes under the cover of darkness. The county... Oh, George lost George. Ooh, something happened to George's. The county also decided late Monday to hire workers through a staffing agency to monitor all of its drop boxes 24 hours a day until the election is over, Kimsey said. Workers will have instructions to simply observe the ballot boxes and not confront anyone. Instead, they will call 911 if they see anything suspicious. Burning ballots in blue states. That's where we are. It really is where we are now. And again, I just respectfully think the question is not why am I upset? It's why aren't you? And not you individually. Why aren't you as an American public upset about this? Why are you not concerned about where we're going? And I know that there's a very large percentage of the country that is concerned. That's exactly why they will be voting Democratic. Or, I guess, I don't know why. Personally, I don't know why, and I don't see how it's justified. But I guess that's why they'll be voting for Jill Steiner Cornel West. But anyone who's already made up their mind or who has already decided that not in a million years would they vote for Trump, maybe they're just as upset as I am. But this goes both ways. I mean, this is serious stuff. So, just two more that I really want to get to, because we've been following this one now for about 2 weeks. And I continue to think this is an incredibly big story. And I also happen to think that if we weren't in the midst of this, cold Civil War election season, that this would be a bigger story. Ooh, he's back. I think you got booted there, sir. I didn't do it. I blame.
No, it wasn't that. We actually need new equipment. So
Yeah, we do.
My computer crashed because I was looking up like a million things and trying to put them into the chat. So yeah.
Too many browser windows.
Too many browsers windows.
Yep.
What it was.
Yep, enough said. I know I do it sometimes myself. And then, of course, when I try to close one so that I don't have 1,000 of them, and that's the one I keep going back to and think, oh, just close it. You open it again. But anyway, that said, from the Associated Press, Lorne Cook and Tara Kopp are the co-authors of this article, Dateline Brussels. Headline: North Korea has sent about 10,000 troops to Russia to fight in Ukraine, the Pentagon says. North Korea has sent about 10,000 troops to Russia to train and fight in Ukraine. In Ukraine. Within, quote, the next several weeks, the Pentagon said on Monday today, in a move that Western leaders say will intensify the almost 3-year war and jolt relations in the Indo-Pacific region. Some of the North Korean soldiers have already moved closer to Ukraine, Pentagon spokeswoman Sabrina Singh said, and were believed to be heading for the Kursk border region, where Russia has been struggling to push back a Ukrainian incursion. Early Monday, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, or UTTE, I believe that's how you say it, NATO confirmed recent Ukrainian intelligence reports that some North Korean military units were already in the Kursk region, adding thousands of North Korean soldiers to Europe's biggest conflict since World War II will pile more pressure on Ukraine's weary and overstretched army. It will also stoke geopolitical tensions in the Korean Peninsula and the wider Indo-Pacific region, including Japan, why did it do that? Darn it, and Australia, Western officials say. Russian President Vladimir Putin is keen to reshape global power dynamics. He sought to build a counterbalance to Western influence with a summit of BRICS countries, including leaders of China and India. In Russia last week, he sought direct help for the war from Iran, which has supplied drones, and North Korea, which has shipped large amounts of ammunition, according to Western governments. Rutte told reporters in Brussels that the North Korean deployment represents a significant escalation in Pyongyang's involvement in the conflict and a dangerous expansion of Russia's war. U.S. President Joe Biden also called the deployment dangerous, very dangerous. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Secretary of State Antony Blinken will meet with their South Korean counterparts later this week in Washington. I don't know why anyone would think that it will stop at 10,000. Because inevitably, some of those troops are going to get killed. It's just good. It's just math. Some of those 10,000s will die. And it seemed to me that it's not going to stop here. And I think that particular, let's see if I can find that particular sentence again, if I can find it. The idea that North Korean troops are now on the ground and preparing to fight in the first major ground war on the European continent since World War II is a bloody big deal. It just is. It's as President Biden says, it's a BFD. It's a BFD. It just is. Because I just don't think that the North Koreans will stop at 10,000. I just don't. They need money and they need food desperately. They need technology. The Russians can give them things that they have in some abundance to make up for the things that they don't. The Russians clearly cannot manufacture drones and ammunition and shells fast enough at the rate that they're using them. They also have emptied, Trump loves to talk about these other countries emptying the prisons. Russia emptied the prisons of everyone except the political prisoners, of course, and sent them to the front line and said, here, you can earn your freedom by fighting. So they're not quite yet short on people. They're going to be. They're going to have to expand their draft at some point, too. The Ukrainians, of course, already have. I believe they're dipping down now, I think, to age 20 and as high as 40. That's from memory. I could have that wrong. I expect if they can hold their own with the addition of these new troops, they're probably going to have to expand their draft again in Ukraine. Ukrainians will probably start drafting 16-year-olds and go up to age 50 because they're going to run out of bodies. Exactly why the West needs to arm them to the teeth, because they simply don't have the bodies. But this is a big deal. It's a damn big deal. Just one other quick one I kind of wanted to get to because I found this really interesting. And I saw some reporting tonight on MSNBC before I came upstairs to join you. Yeah, of course, the damn thing is spiraling. And now I'm not going to see the story because heaven forbid that the $200 a month effing Wi-Fi that I pay for in this place. God, 1 million people live in the Lehigh Valley. We have Wi-Fi from like somewhere in the Alaskan forest. Good God, it doesn't stop. Let me see if, okay, now I got it because I had to close the app out because, of course. Don't know who the article's author is. It's not listed here. I, of course, am grabbing this from the Associated Press because it was right next to the other story that I wanted to read. Washington Post loses more than 200,000 subscriptions following non-endorsement. Here's the reporting that I saw on MSNBC before I came upstairs here to join you. That Trump had a meeting not directly with Bezos, but with his people who own the Washington Post. Remember, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. It's part of the Amazon. It's under the Amazon umbrella. I don't believe that it's listed as being owned by Amazon. It's Bezos himself with his Amazon billions that bought the Washington Post. And, to be fair, probably saved it from extinction. He did use his business acumen to save it, build up the website, the digital content, and save the Washington Post. It is again making money. And heretofore, he has largely, if not exclusively, stayed out of the operations of the paper. The Washington Post doggedly investigated the first Trump regime. Trump used to go out to the press and on his travels and regularly attack the Washington Post for its investigative journalism of the Trump administration. So they haven't always seen eye to eye. But what MSNBC was reporting before I came up is that Trump himself spoke to some of Bezos's people that run the Post. That conversation got back to Bezos. Now, the reporting doesn't say he spoke directly to Bezos, but that meeting took place, and then Bezos decided to order the paper not to publish its endorsement of Vice President Harris, which at this point is a moot point because now everybody in the country knows that the Washington Post was going to endorse Vice President Harris. In fact, I think the article may have even leaked. But this, I think, is interesting. Dateline New York. Ironic about the Washington Post, Dateline New York. More than 200,000 people have canceled subscriptions to the Washington Post since the newspaper announced its decision last week not to endorse a candidate for president, a published report said Monday. NPR reported the figure, citing 2 people at the paper with knowledge of internal matters. The reported loss of subscriptions of that magnitude would be a blow to a news outlet that is already facing financial headwinds. The Post had more than 2.5 million subscribers last year, the bulk of them digital, making it third behind the New York Times and Wall Street Journal in circulation. A Post spokeswoman, Olivia Peterson, would not comment on the report when contacted by the Associated Press. The Post's editorial staff had reportedly prepared an endorsement of Democratic nominee Vice President Kamala Harris before announcing instead on Friday that it would leave it up for readers to make up their own mind. The timing, less than 2 weeks before Election Day, led critics to question whether Post owner and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos had been concerned about whether Republican Trump might retaliate if he were elected president. You can vote with your wallet, folks. We do it every day. We pick one brand of tissues over another. We drive a certain kind of car over another. We vote with our wallets in ways we don't always think about. We choose to live in one area of the country or one town within a region over another. People are voting with their wallets. They're taking away by ending their subscriptions to the Washington Post. 200,000. That's all the time we have for tonight. Let's pick it up again about 23 hours from now. Cold Dead Hands immediately follows us. T. Nathan from 11, Thomas from 8 in the morning. You're listening to GCPR Live. Cold Dead Hands starts right now. We will see you tomorrow.